This is a complex and multifaceted story exploring themes of identity, reality, memory, and the nature of consciousness through intertwined narratives. The story centers around a man who awakens in a strange, seemingly endless train journey. The primary narrative strand takes place on the train itself. John is trapped on this speeding train. The train is a self-contained world, a labyrinthine environment populated by bizarre characters and governed by illogical rules. It's a surreal landscape that seems to respond to his subconscious, reflecting his fears, desires, and fragmented memories. As he explores the train, he encounters various scenarios and individuals, each encounter serving as a symbolic representation of his past or present psychological state. He struggles to understand his purpose on the train journey and to piece together his lost identity. The train is a metaphor for the liminal space between life and death, consciousness and oblivion, sanity and madness. The second narrative thread introduces a successful but disillusioned man living in contemporary Scotland. Alan is an engineer involved in a large-scale infrastructure project. He is portrayed as intelligent, capable, and yet deeply unhappy. He is trapped in a loveless marriage and struggles with feelings of alienation and existential angst. Alan represents a potential reality for the man on the locomotive, a life he may have once lived or could have lived. This part of the story offers a glimpse into the mundane realities of modern life, contrasting sharply with the surreal and fantastical nature of the train. Alan's story explores themes of societal expectations, personal fulfillment, and the search for meaning in a seemingly meaningless world. His internal struggles and dissatisfaction with his life suggest a deeper yearning for something more, a desire that perhaps manifests itself in the fantastical realm of the train. The third narrative strand follows the coarse bastard, a brutal and ruthless warrior in a fantastical medieval-like setting. The wild man is a figure of pure action and instinct, driven by violence and a thirst for power. He is engaged in constant warfare, conquering territories and subjugating his enemies. This narrative is filled with graphic depictions of violence and explores themes of power, aggression, and the darker aspects of human nature. The primitive man represents the primal, instinctual side of the protagonist, the raw and untamed desires that lie beneath the surface of his conscious mind. His story serves as a counterpoint to the more intellectual and introspective narratives of the train and Alan, highlighting the inherent contradictions within human nature. As the story progresses, the connections between these three realities become increasingly apparent. The man on the train begins to experience flashes of memory from both Alan's and the wild man's lives, blurring the lines between these seemingly separate identities.
It becomes clear that these three narratives are not independent stories, but rather fragmented pieces of a single, fractured consciousness. The train man, Alex, and the wild man are all aspects of the same person, representing different facets of his personality and experiences. The central mystery of the story revolves around the motorbike accident that landed the protagonist on the train journey. The circumstances surrounding the accident are initially unclear, but as the narrative unfolds, it is revealed that the accident was a deliberate act of self-destruction. The protagonist, overwhelmed by the pressures and disappointments of his life, attempted to end his own life. The Train is a story about the search for identity and meaning in the face of trauma and loss. The protagonist's journey through the fragmented realities is a metaphorical exploration of the human psyche. The story suggests that human identity is not a fixed and stable entity, but rather a fluid and ever-changing construct, shaped by our experiences, memories, and desires. The protagonist's struggle to piece together his fragmented self reflects the universal human desire to understand who we are and what our purpose is in life.